Oh hey, think fast. Dopamine fast. Oh, it's just water. Ugh. It's Jeffrey here with another episode of AutoAlchemy and a fresh new t-shirt. So on Thanksgiving, when my friends and family were gobbling down pumpkin pie and warm turkey, I decided to go cold turkey. And by that, I mean I decided to do a dopamine fast. Maybe a little context is in order. So first of all, what is a dopamine fast? So this is a concept that I encountered through the YouTube channel Improvement Pill, and I recommend that channel to anyone who's interested in self-growth. And I really hope that sentence made sense, but it's a coin toss. Basically, a dopamine fast is a 24-hour period where you abstain from all of your favorite mindless pleasures. So no electronics, no alcohol, no music, no food, and worst of all, for a bookworm like me, no literature. Now, Improvement Pill's rationale for doing a dopamine fast is that, first of all, it kind of allows you to recalibrate and reset your dopamine system, which is essentially your motivational system. And second of all, it kind of forces you to confront whatever dark things are lurking in the corner of your mind that you decide not to address, the things that you distract yourself from constantly. So I want to say a little bit about why I personally was drawn to the concept. I've been struggling quite a bit lately, just keeping motivated and keeping focused and staying in an emotionally healthy kind of space. And I just felt like I had some demons that I needed to sweat out, or a fever that I needed to sweat out. I've just been really feeling like a prisoner to my impulses. So to give you some context, a few weeks ago I felt this temptation to order a pizza, and that's fine. Like, I am a big proponent of eating pizza, but I'm too big a proponent. So I had already had pizza like four, maybe 3 days before, and I still decided that I needed it for whatever reason. And even though my rational mind was like, no, don't be this person. You bought salads. You bought a huge bag of salads, and you even did meal prep for the next 3 days. It's completely unnecessary for you to eat pizza right now. You don't need it. But I ordered the pizza because the urge was so overwhelming. And I just felt like this infantile demon was in my mind saying, gimme, gimme, gimme. I cried. I felt so powerless over my body, like somebody else was ghostwriting my whip. And I know that I'm saying this in a really dry way, but I'm being serious. I freaking cried because I wanted pizza, but I didn't want pizza. But the animalistic part of me that did want pizza was more powerful and was choking the life out of the reasonable guy who's supposed to be in charge of this whole inner operation. Now, another reason that I wanted to do the dopamine fast is that I've always been drawn to meditation. I try to make it a daily practice, and I fail constantly. And I've often thought that I would benefit from doing an extended meditation retreat, so at least a week, but probably, 10 days, maybe up to 2 weeks. But I've also kind of feared that I'm going to get there and I'm going to want to leave after 30 seconds. So I need to prove to myself that I can deprive myself of all of these little indulgences, at least for a day. So the point is, I decided to do a dopamine fast, and it wasn't really feasible for me to see my family, and I had some friends who were doing things, but at the end of the day, I thought it was kind of fun and paradoxical to deprive myself in such a deep way when everybody else in the US anyhow is out there going ham on some ham. And yeah, I like the fun, I like the paradox. So you might be wondering what I did to prepare myself for this feat of endurance. And I know that it sounds ridiculous to call it that, but you got to understand, I have been addicted to the internet since I was 12 years old. All I do is dream of escapism at all times, which is a problem. So this was hard for me. I hope you believe that. So on the night before Thanksgiving, I decided to do a little pre-gaming. I kind of wrote out some activities that I could engage in that would be low dopamine, and I think that in the improvement pill video, he limits it to light exercise, meditation, journaling, and drinking water. And that's it. And, for the most part, I wanted to abide by those same restrictions, but I decided to, shape it a little bit more. So I've been really interested in dream journaling, for example. So I added that to the agenda as like a possible item. And I thought that I could tidy up my room. It's not like tidying up my room gives me a massive gut punch of dopamine. And the fact is, you're not going to be able to deprive yourself of dopamine completely. So I gave myself little things that might have fallen outside of the purview of the original video, but I still think that the entire enterprise is in accordance with the spirit of the original video. Improvement Pills video also includes a few writing prompts to get you to think about what sort of psychological or physical pain that you're in, and I wrote those down so that I would have them readily available. And I also wrote down a few cognitive behavioral therapy exercises from the book Feeling Good, which I've mentioned way back in the day on my channel. So I wake up, it's Thanksgiving Day, I realize the immensity of my task, and what's the first thing I do? I go back to sleep. I'm like, I don't want to do this. Unfortunately, I couldn't really sleep. So since I've been dabbling in dream journaling, I decided, well, what if I try to do a little bit of lucid dreaming? Typically, if I am sleepy and I haven't been awake for too long, I can get in this ideal spot with my sleep where it's easier to toe that line between the waking world and the dream world. Unfortunately, that did not work so well for me. I had no choice but to get up and face the day. So in addition to the reflective, introspective journaling that I did, which is a little too personal for me to want to share right now, I also had a sheet of paper where I was tracking my time and my activities because I thought it could be useful to get a real feel for how much time is in a day. I think that we often underestimate the amount of time that we have available to us, and we really squander it, I did want to give you guys a few highlights from my moment-to-moment experience here. So at 11:05 a.m., I wrote, "Slight tidy. Hello to Murray, the cat. Breaking down cardboard. Boredom." That's kind of poetic in a way. I'm sure that you could trim that into a serviceable haiku. 12:05 p.m. This is stupid. Just want to feel something good. Gimme phone. Gimme seltzer. Gimme something. And then there was some radio silence. But at 5:35 I wrote, "Getting real tired of this stuff." Except I didn't say stuff. Now that's not to say that there weren't moments of real reflection and real psychological insight. At one point I ended up face down in the closet, weeping, and I realized, oh man, I'm still kind of contending with a little bit of baggage, a little bit of trauma from previous relationships. Plural. Not just my last relationship, but a whole string that's led me to this point in time. I also came to realize that one of the big reasons that I like to distract myself so much is that although I really deeply crave human connection, I'm also horrified of sharing my personal perspective. That's sort of situational. There are certain areas that I'm completely fine sharing my perspective, and then there are other areas that go to the deepest parts of my mind, to where I'm generating all of these metaphysical insights that make me feel like a crazy person. And that stuff, I don't let anyone touch that stuff unless they've really earned it. which is really to say, unless I feel like they're not going to abandon me if I give that to them. So yeah, I end up opening 30 or 40 YouTube tabs, and I distract myself from that loneliness. And it sucks in a way. In a way. I mean, obviously it sucks. What am I saying? So on that day, I kind of gained a newfound appreciation and momentum for going on walks and meditating. I walked around my neighborhood because I had nothing else to do, and it was very interesting, and I saw parts of the area that I haven't seen before. And I meditated multiple times throughout the day, and I even meditated outside in the cold as like the day was dying and birds were firing through the air like arrows. It was crazy, dog. I had some epiphanies. Another thing that I came to realize is that I am ironically way too hard on myself. Like, I noticed that I never really allow myself to relax. Even if I'm engaging in some stupid, mindless activity, I never let that monkey hop off my back. The monkey who's always looking for something to do, who's swinging a hammer and always looking for a nail. So it's crazy. Like, I even will sometimes turn relaxing activities into commodities or tasks, and that's silly. Like, I need to be able to sink into a moment more. I need to be able to appreciate the moment as it is. I think that when I beat myself up for watching a show or hopping on YouTube or playing a video game, I think that I'm just really creating kind of a complex. I'm making it worse for myself. I'm at war with myself, and I need to learn a way to kind of acknowledge the fact that I do have certain cravings and maybe I can indulge them. I kind of just like seductively unbuttoned my shirt. Like, I've got some cravings, man. What do you think? That's besides the point. Dopamine! Pow! So what are the takeaways here? Like, part of the original agenda, according to Improvement Pill, is that you should walk away from the experience with 3 things that you want to implement that are going to bring you towards your best self, whatever that happens to be. And I'm paraphrasing his point, and this is just how I happen to interpret it, but I think that that's a good takeaway. I think that anybody could benefit from that. A huge takeaway for me was that I should do more journaling. The fact that I did some pre-gaming and then I did some post-gaming, just reflecting on the entire day, and I did a gratitude journal after the fact, which is something that I've done in the past. Just kind of like bookending the day with journaling activities and also sprinkling some introspection throughout the day. That was really useful for me, and I want to do it with more regularity. I want to do it in a more structured way. I used to journal a lot online, but I find that I just type really quickly, and so the information I don't really let the information simmer in my brain as much as I should. So this weekend I went and grabbed a composition book, or a decomposition book, which I guess is, it's created out of recycled materials, and I wanted something that was kind of cool and quirky but not too expensive, because if I had a really nice journal, of which I have a few, I felt like I wouldn't write in it. I felt like I wouldn't find what I had to say worthy of sullying that particular journal. So this one's really cool. It's got a Pegasus guy. I love the color palette here. Yeah, I'm excited to begin filling it up. And part of that journaling project is using it to schedule my day. So thinking about the big things that I want to accomplish, and then using my newfound appreciation for blasts of dopamine, kind of structure my day so that there's always a reward of some kind after the big things that I need to get done. And finally, I've kind of just learned to relax a little bit, and like lower my standards a little bit. Not that my standards are lowered exactly. It's more like I have the same sort of ambitions and visions for myself, but I'm trying to acknowledge the fact that if I kick myself in the butt and develop like this snowball of self-hate, that's really just going to be counterproductive. So yeah, guys, that's all I've got. I want to do this again at some point, maybe for longer than a day, but I really would prefer to do it in the context of a retreat, which is not something that I would be filming, but I could still maybe give you guys the inside scoop after the fact. But yeah, if anybody found this helpful, leave a comment. If you feel motivated to try out a dopamine fast of your own, then I'd love to hear that story, however it pans out. But thank you so much for tuning in, and I will talk to you next time.